The proposal. 2 days later. The rumors started before Elena even made it home that night. By morning, they'd metastasized into something far worse than the truth. The gossip blogs had photos. Someone must have been on a neighboring balcony with a camera phone, showing Marcus and Elena in what looked like an intimate conversation. His jacket around her shoulders, their faces close together. The body language that could be interpreted as romantic if you were inclined toward that interpretation. And everyone, it seemed, was inclined. The headlines were brutal. Tech billionaire Marcus Sullivan's mystery woman? Who was the woman who finally tamed the Bachelor CEO? Sullivan spotted an intimate moment with plus-sized economist. That last one made Elena want to throw her phone across the room. Of course they mentioned her size. Of course they made it part of the story, as if her body was newsworthy in a way thin women's bodies never were. By noon, she'd lost 3 clients. By evening, her business partner Sarah called, voice tight with panic. "Elena, what the hell?" Sarah demanded. "Marcus Sullivan? Of all people? The man who destroyed my company?"
"It's not what it looks like," Elena tried to explain. "We were just talking. Someone spilled wine on my dress. He offered his jacket. We went to the balcony to avoid the crowd." "Do you know what our clients are saying?" Sarah cut her off. "They're saying you're compromised, that you can't possibly be objective in your consulting work if you're involved with Sullivan. I've had 4 companies pull their contracts this morning." 4? Elena's stomach dropped. "But we have obligations." "They're invoking the morality clauses," Sarah said, "claiming your behavior has damaged their corporate reputation." Her voice softened slightly. "I know this isn't fair. I know you didn't do anything wrong, but the perception is what matters, and right now the perception is killing us." The call ended with promises to do damage control, to issue statements, to somehow salvage what they could. But Elena knew the truth. In their world, once your reputation was damaged, it stayed damaged. Denials made you look defensive. Silence made you look guilty. There was no good option. She was ruined, all because Marcus Sullivan had offered her his jacket. The knock on her door came at 8 p.m. Elena almost didn't answer. She was still in her work clothes from that morning, having spent the entire day fielding calls and watching her career implode. The last thing she wanted was to deal with reporters or curious neighbors or anyone who wanted to discuss her sudden, unwanted notoriety. But the knocking persisted, polite but insistent. She opened the door. Marcus Sullivan stood in her hallway, looking exactly as composed as he had at the gala. Tailored suit, perfect hair, the kind of calm that came from never being rattled by anything. He held a folder in one hand. "What are you doing here?" Elena demanded. "We need to talk," he said simply. "We really don't." "I disagree." He gestured to the folder. "I have a proposal that might interest you." "A proposal?" she repeated, her voice flat. "You destroyed my reputation, and now you have a proposal?" "I didn't destroy your reputation," Marcus corrected. "A gossipy socialite and an overactive imagination destroyed your reputation. I'm here to offer you a way to fix it." Elena should have slammed the door in his face, should have told him to leave and never come back, should have done any number of things that a rational person with self-preservation instincts would do. Instead, she stepped aside and let him in. Her apartment was small, especially compared to what she imagined Marcus was used to. 1 bedroom, barely 800 square feet, furnished with pieces from IKEA and Craigslist. It was clean and organized because Elena couldn't function in chaos, but it was undeniably modest. The apartment of someone who was doing okay, but not great. Someone who had to budget and plan and worry about rent. Marcus looked around with the kind of careful attention he probably gave to everything,
cataloging and assessing. Elena watched him, waiting for judgment, waiting for some comment about how this was beneath him. It never came. "Nice space," he said finally. "Good natural light." "It's tiny." "Efficient," he corrected, "and you've made good use of it. Are you here to evaluate my decorating choices, or did you actually have something to say?" He smiled, that sharp, calculating smile. Both, apparently. Marcus set the folder on her kitchen counter, which was the only clear surface in sight. Elena remained standing, arms crossed, making it clear she wasn't planning to make this comfortable for him. "The scandal from the gala," he began. "It's hurt both of us, but you more than me. I'm already considered ruthless and amoral. You, on the other hand, run a business that depends on trust, on being seen as ethical and unbiased. This situation has compromised that." "Thanks for the summary," Elena said coldly. "I was there." "My point is that we both have a problem, and I have a solution that benefits us both." "Which is?" Marcus met her eyes directly. "Marry me." Elena stared at him, waiting for the punchline, waiting for him to laugh or smile or indicate in any way that this was some kind of elaborate joke. He didn't. "You're insane," she said finally. "Possibly," he acknowledged, "but I'm also serious. You want me to marry you, the man I've spent months trying to prove as a corporate thief, the man who destroyed my best friend's company, the man I can't stand." "Yes." "Why?" Elena demanded. "Why would you possibly want to marry me?" Marcus opened the folder, pulling out a contract. "Because it solves both our problems. The scandal has linked us together. Denying the relationship will look like we're ashamed. But getting married, that transforms the narrative. We're not having a sordid affair. We're a couple who fell in love." "Fell in love?" Elena repeated incredulously. "That's what we'll tell people," Marcus clarified. "Obviously, the truth is different." Obviously. He pushed the contract toward her. 1 year. We get married, live together, maintain the appearance of a real relationship. After 1 year, we divorce quietly. You get $5 million, enough to rebuild your business and then some. I get, he paused, considering his words carefully, I get to resolve the scandal and fulfill a commitment I made to some associates. Elena picked up the contract, scanning the first page. It was real. Actual legal language, terms and conditions, all of it professionally drafted and notarized. "What commitment?" she asked.
"That's not relevant to this arrangement."
If I'm going to marry you, even in a fake marriage, I want to know why."
Marcus's jaw tightened. He clearly didn't want to tell her, but after a moment he spoke. "I made a bet," he said. $10 million that I can stay married for 1 year without falling in love with my wife." Elena lowered the contract, staring at him. "You're betting you can't fall in love?" "That I won't fall in love," he corrected. "There's a difference." "Not much of one." "There's a crucial difference," Marcus insisted. "One implies inability. The other implies choice. I'm choosing not to fall in love. I'm demonstrating that romantic attachment is unnecessary for a successful life." "By marrying me and proving you feel nothing." "Exactly." The sheer audacity of it was almost impressive. Elena had thought she understood how arrogant Marcus Sullivan was, but this exceeded her estimates. He was so convinced of his own emotional invulnerability that he'd bet $10 million on it. So certain he was immune to human connection that he was willing to marry someone just to prove the point. It would have been laughable if it wasn't so sad. "And you chose me because," Elena prompted. "Because you're perfect for this," Marcus said. "You're intelligent, I won't be bored. You're independent, you won't cling. You're not someone I would normally pursue romantically, and you need the money." "How do you know I need money?" He gestured around her apartment. "You're talented and accomplished, but you're not wealthy. This scandal is destroying your business. $5 million would solve that problem." He was right. Elena hated that he was right. She read through more of the contract. The terms were surprisingly fair. He'd pay for everything during the year: housing, food, expenses. She'd have access to his financial records for transparency purposes, which she could use to continue her investigation of his business practices. After the year, the divorce would be clean and uncontested. $5 million deposited immediately into an account of her choosing. It was insane. It was also, possibly, her only way out of this mess. "I have conditions," Elena said finally. Marcus's expression didn't change, but something in his eyes sharpened. Interested. "Name them." "First," she held up one finger, "I'm not changing for you. Not my appearance, not my personality, not my life. You want me for this charade, you get me exactly as I am." "Agreed." "Second," she held up another finger, "during this year, I want complete access to your business records, all of them. If I find proof that you've engaged in illegal activities, I'm taking that information to the authorities. Marriage won't protect you." Marcus studied her for a long moment. Most people, when offered $5 million, would have taken the money and run, would have agreed to whatever terms he set. Elena Meredian was negotiating, was demanding the right to investigate him while pretending to be his wife. It was the most interesting thing anyone had done in years. "Agreed," he said. "Though I should warn you, you won't find anything illegal. Unethical, perhaps, but not illegal. We'll see about that." "Third condition?" he prompted. Elena met his eyes. "This is a business arrangement. Nothing more. You don't touch me beyond what's necessary for appearances. You don't pretend this is anything real. We both know exactly what this is: a transaction." Something flickered across Marcus's face, too fast for Elena to read, but his voice was steady when he responded. "Agreed," he said, "though I should mention the contract requires us to share a bedroom, for appearance purposes." "Then we'll share a bedroom," Elena said, "but nothing happens in that bedroom beyond sleeping." "Understood." "And you don't get to make comments about my body, my weight, my appearance. You chose me knowing exactly what I look like. You don't get to criticize it." "I wouldn't," Marcus said, and there was something almost genuine in his tone. "You look exactly as you should." Elena picked up a pen from her counter, held it poised over the contract. "This is insane," she said. "Completely," Marcus agreed. "I'm only doing this because you've destroyed my other options. I'm aware. I still think you're a thief." Noted. Elena signed the contract. Marcus signed below her name. They stood there in her tiny kitchen, having just agreed to marry each other for money and mutual benefit, both of them pretending this was a rational decision made by reasonable people. "The wedding is in 3 days," Marcus said. "My lawyer will handle the arrangements. City Hall ceremony, small and simple. We'll issue a joint statement tomorrow announcing our engagement." 3 days? Elena's voice rose. "Don't people usually plan weddings for months?" "People who are having real weddings, yes," Marcus said. "We're not. We're resolving a scandal. Speed is essential." "Fine," Elena said, "but I'm not wearing white." "Wear whatever you want. And no kiss at the ceremony." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "The officiant will expect it." "I don't care what the officiant expects. No kiss." Marcus looked at her for a long moment. This woman who'd just agreed to marry him but wouldn't kiss him, who'd signed a contract for $5 million but demanded the right to investigate his crimes, who was so unlike anyone else in his carefully constructed world that standing in her kitchen felt like visiting a foreign country. "No kiss," he agreed finally, "if that's what you want." "It is. Then that's what we'll do." He gathered up the contract, his copy and hers, sliding them both into the folder. Paused at the door on his way out. For what it's worth, he said, I do think this will work. For both of us. I know it will work for you, Elena said. You'll get your proof that you're incapable of human connection. Congratulations on being dead inside. Better than being vulnerable, Marcus replied. Is it? Elena asked. Is it really? He didn't answer, just left, closing the door quietly behind him. Elena stood alone in her apartment, staring at the contract she'd just signed, wondering what exactly she'd just agreed to. Outside, the city hummed with its usual indifferent energy, a million lives moving forward with the kind of momentum that pretended tomorrow was guaranteed. Inside, Elena had just promised to spend a year married to a man who'd bet $10 million that he couldn't love her.